All right, folks, we welcome you back to America Talks Live. I'm Steve Malzberg. We are in our New York City studios here. Give us a call, 877-NEWSMAX, 877-639-7629, because myself and J.D. Hayworth is here, of course, host of Newsmax Prime. It airs 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Newsmax Television. He is down at our Florida headquarters. And joining me in our New York studios right now is Ed Klein, former editor-in-chief of New York Times Magazine, New York Times best-selling author, and the great new book, which is at the top of the charts, Guilty as Sin. And I love that picture with Hillary peeking out and looking for some sunshine. Ed, welcome. J.D. and I welcome you. So taking everything in that's happened, I guess, since the last time we chatted about a week ago, where are we and what are you looking for tonight?
Well, what I think is going to happen tonight is that Donald Trump is going to go nuclear. I think he has no other choice. He's behind in the polls very significantly. He seems to be slipping. And unless he has a knockout blow tonight, I think he can kiss this election goodbye. So what will he do? I think there's one possibility, and that is going after Hillary's health. Because there's been a lot of talk, as you know, regarding why it is that she seems to be so fit as a fiddle when she's on stage and so in almost a state of collapse behind the scenes. I think he might bring this up tonight. And
of course, you had in your book that she is in need of a valve replacement in her heart, and she refuses to do it. J.D., is that something you're looking for Trump to do? And please feel free to weigh in with Ed.
Well, yeah, Ed, appreciate your reporting as always. In the book, Guilty as Sin, it expands past the Clintons to their cheerleaders in the mainstream media. In the past few days, all of our suspicions have been confirmed. This is the left behaving badly, behaving criminally. And it would seem to me, over and above Hillary's health, as a disqualifier for her, I think Mr. Trump can turn, what is the term I'm looking for? A bit more charitable, or a bit more with the spirit of a servant, saying, look, what about the health of our republic? Maintaining our Constitution, maintaining our way of life, not only as a shout out to conservatives, some of whom were skeptical from that rough Republican primary, but also for independents. I know that a variety of polls have Mr. Trump lagging, yet the new Investors Business Daily poll has him ahead by a point, and substantially ahead, somewhat surprisingly, with independents. Do you believe he will be able to broaden the nature of the conversation tonight, indicting Hillary not only for her health, but for the sickness that she has infected the State Department with, the culture of criminality, to borrow a phrase that is so apparent and that the dominant media culture remains so silent about?
Well, to coin a phrase, J.D., from your lips to Donald's ears. Because if he does what you say, then I think he's on the right track. I think that's exactly what he should do. The question is, will he do that? I've heard, for instance, that he, Donald, and Roger Ailes, who, of course, as you know, used to run Fox News and recently was retired, let's say, from Fox News and has been unofficially helping Donald. They've parted ways, and I think one of the reasons is that Donald isn't listening to the people around him. Now, if he should listen to them, Kellyanne Conway, for instance, he'll do exactly what you say. And I think that would be very effective tonight.
Well, Ed, he listened to somebody before the second debate because he just rocked it. And he was informed. He knew the issues. He knew what to say, how to come back, how not to dwell on his own self-defense, but turn it into an attack. If he could do that again. But I think if he prolongs this narrative of the election being rigged, which Chris Wallace will ask him about, he needs to say, well, you know, there are examples here and there and blah, blah, blah. And then change the topic to something against Hillary. Give us a revelation that the media is not covering that came out of these Podesta emails and other emails about Hillary. Ed?
I totally agree. I think that's exactly what he should do. I think J.D. would agree with you.
J.D.?
Oh, absolutely. I think we have to take it, as always, in this kind of situation, you have to pivot. The notion is in politics, if you are explaining, you are losing. If you are attacking, with a crystal clear cogency, with an urgency, with a specificity of the real nature of what your opponent fails to bring to the race, if you're able to indict your opponent on the issues. And of course, the big issue for Hillary remains her inherent untrustworthiness, as Ed has written so much, her almost pathological criminality. And that is a point that Mr. Trump can make. At the same time, gentlemen, we have to remember Trump will be Trump. The question is, does it become positive for him, or does he fall back to what our own Washington columnist John Gizzi talked about, citing Ross Perot, almost what Mr. Gizzi calls a billionaire's curse? The notion that, wait a minute, I'm a smart guy, I've made more money than the rest of you guys out there, and I can do it my way. If he avoids the billionaire's curse, but is the effective, aggressive Donald Trump we saw in the second debate, perhaps refining that message a bit more, he can do quite well tonight.
Ed, let me ask you, we know that Donald Trump has invited and will bring with him Barack Obama's half-brother from Kenya. Right. So let me ask you what you think that accomplishes, but also Steve Bannon, campaign manager for Donald Trump, said that is only the beginning. There's going to be lots of surprises. Now, we know what happened last time. He brought the 4 female accusers who have accused Bill Clinton of sexual assault, wanted them in the front row in the family seats. The debate commissioners wouldn't allow that. So is that beneficial to him in any way you could see by bringing Obama's half-brother? Will he acknowledge him from the crowd and point that out? And what do they have up their sleeve, if you want to play sleuth here for a minute?
Well, clearly they must have something up their sleeve. Otherwise, why bring him to the debate? You don't do it for no good reason. I would imagine he will point him out. There are members of Barack Obama's family who we know about, who live in this country, in the United States, who are on welfare. This is where the President of the United States is not even helping out his own family. And so perhaps Donald will use that as an example of this entitlement state that Hillary is trying to push. Bigger government, more people on welfare, rather than self-independence and a raising yourself up by your own bootstraps.
Yeah, JD, does the name Auntie Zahudi ring a bell to you? She was living in a housing project. I remember, I'm bringing all these things back from the '08 election that's coming to mind, as Ed just reminded me that so many of his relatives are living in squalor. Can you imagine, JD, if Donald Trump had a relative that was on welfare that he had nothing to do with? Oh my gosh.
Well, you are again setting up, I believe, the right direction, but let me, with all due respect, suggest a different target.
Sure.
Given the litany of negativity that Hillary provides, given the fact that Ed has written this book, Guilty of Sin, the Trump campaign may be feverishly thumbing through the book. Maybe they have it memorized. Everyone out there who can embarrass Hillary should be the focus tonight. Barack Obama is going to move on, we all hope, after his term is up. The focus has to be Hillary, the culture of criminality, the fact that she says one thing and does another, and it is fair game psychologically. Tonight, simultaneous with the debate or a half an hour before, there should be a story dropped that conservative media picks up. Don't look for the AP, the alphabets of their cable cousins, but a story that breaks on the internet that absolutely pours gasoline on the fire of suspicion for Hillary Clinton. Psychologically, it'll make it very tough for her.
Ed, you care to drop that story?
I wish I had that story. If I had it, I would drop it right now.
All right, we got a minute, but are you surprised by New York Post report, Hillary Clinton's security detail laughed when she broke her elbow. Google's Eric Schmidt is working directly with the campaign. We got the list of Hollywood elites that are also working with the campaign. Clinton, Hillary accused of stealing furniture from the State Department. I mean, it just never ends with this woman.
Well, you know, none of that surprises me because I've got all of it in this new book, Guilty of Sin. She's been taking stuff from the government ever since she's been in government. We remember that huge moving van that came in front of the White House when the Clintons were ready to move out.
And they had to return that
and they had to return a lot of that furniture and that china. Well, she's still up to her old tricks, and she has this sense of smug entitlement that whatever she wants belongs to her.
Ed Klein, the book, Guilty as Sin. Always great to see you, sir. And JD, we'll see you throughout the day here on Newsmax Television. Your show at 8 p.m. Eastern, and you'll be with me at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then we'll be together at 11 p.m. Eastern. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate the chance to be on with you.
All right, up next, folks, my Newsmax TV colleagues Bill Tucker, John Bachman, Ed Berliner, and Miranda Kahn. Don't go away.